Ever wonder why good employees suddenly start looking for other jobs? I used to think it was always about money. But after working with hundreds of local business owners, I've discovered something interesting. People don't leave jobs. They leave leaders. So here's a common scenario. You have a great employee, and then there's some sudden changes, and then an unexpected resignation. And as the owner, you're confused. And here's the thing. It's usually not one big mistake that drives them away. It's a series of small leadership gaps that add up over time. Today, I'm going to share the 5 most common leadership mistakes I see, and more importantly, how to fix them before you lose your best people. The first mistake, thinking strong leadership means having all the answers. Here's what typically happens. A business owner stays late, solving every problem, making every decision, carrying the whole business on their shoulders. They think this shows strength. But here's the reality. It shows fear. Strong leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating an environment where your team feels confident finding solutions. We need to transform from "I'll handle it" to "How would you handle this?" Let me share a story that changed my entire perspective on leadership. I was working with an attorney who prided herself on being available 24/7 for her team. She thought she was being a great leader. Instead, she was creating a team that couldn't function without her. Here's what we did. We started with one simple change. When team members came with problems, she'd ask, "What do you think we should do?" At first, her team was uncomfortable. They were used to getting answers, not giving them. But then something interesting happened. They started solving problems she didn't even know existed. Why? Because now they had permission to think like leaders. There was more initiative, better solutions, less dependency. And here's the best part. Her billable hours actually went up because she wasn't spending all day putting out fires. And this only works if you avoid our second mistake, confusing dumping with delegating. You know what this looks like? Here, take care of this, followed by running to the next fire. I call this the hot potato style of delegation. And it usually ends in one of 2 ways. The task gets done wrong, or the task bounces back to you. Here's what most business owners miss. Delegation isn't about getting rid of work. It's about growing your team. Let me share the 3-step method that transformed how I delegate. We call it watch one, do one, teach one. Here's how it works. First time, they watch you do it while you explain why you make each decision. Second time, they do it while you watch, asking questions, not giving answers. And here's the magic step. Third time, they teach someone else while you observe. Why does this work so well? Because you can't truly understand something until you can teach it to others. Creates deeper understanding, more confident decisions, and creates natural quality control. I saw this transform a bookkeeping firm in just 3 weeks. Instead of the owner checking every entry, her team was training new hires. Now watch out. This all falls apart if you make mistake number 3. The blame culture, where finding fault is more important than finding solutions. You can spot it instantly. People pointing fingers, defensive meetings, and the classic phrase, "That's not my fault." Here's what's fascinating about blame. It spreads like a virus. One person starts and suddenly your whole team is focused on protecting themselves instead of growing the business. I learned this lesson the hard way. Early in my business, I had a team that was great at explaining why things went wrong, but terrible at making things go right. Want to know what changed everything? We transformed from who messed up to what can we learn. I banned one word from our vocabulary, the word but. Because but is almost always followed by an excuse. Instead, we started using and. This went wrong, and here's what we learned. We missed the deadline, and we've identified the bottleneck. Watch what happens when you make this shift. People stop hiding mistakes. They start sharing them because now they're opportunities to improve, not reasons to get in trouble. It's a culture shift. We move from fear to growth, from hiding to sharing, from blame to solutions. But here's the real breakthrough. Innovation starts happening. Because when people aren't afraid of failure, they're willing to try new things. Which brings us to mistake number 4. Understanding when to manage and when to lead. It's not about one being better than the other. Think about this. A new team member needs clear management, step-by-step guidance, specific procedures. Skipping this crucial foundation is like trying to build a house without a blueprint. So some management foundations are clear procedures, regular check-ins, specific feedback. I learned this lesson when I tried to be just a leader with a new hire. I gave them autonomy before they were ready. The result? They felt abandoned, not empowered. Here's what I discovered. Good management creates confidence, and confidence is what allows leadership to work. Let me share what works. Think of it like teaching someone to drive. You don't just hand over the keys and say, "Show initiative." You start with clear instructions, careful supervision, and lots of practice in safe situations. So there's steps to it. You learn procedures, you practice the basics, you build confidence, and then you gain independence. Here's a perfect example. One of my clients, a plumbing company owner, was frustrated that his team couldn't think for themselves. Turns out, he'd never given them the foundation they needed. Once he put proper management systems in place, checklists, quality standards, regular reviews, something interesting happened. His team started making better decisions because they understood the basics inside and out. The key, knowing when each approach is needed. When are those decision points? Well, if it's a new task, it's management. If it's a mastered task, leadership. If it's a crisis, management. If it's growth, leadership. Think of it like a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you guide. The trick is reading the situation correctly. Ask yourself, does this person need clear direction right now, or do they need room to grow? And here's something crucial. You can switch between these roles multiple times in a single day. That's not inconsistent. That's good business. And this only works if you avoid our final mistake. Our final mistake, neglecting 100% involvement and inclusion. You've probably seen this. The same 3 people always speak up while everyone else stays quiet. Easy to mistake silence for agreement, isn't it? But here's what I've discovered. Often, your quietest team members have the best insights. They just need the right environment to share them. There's hidden potential, untapped ideas, valuable perspectives. and missed opportunities. Let me share a simple technique that changed everything in my business. We call it the round robin rule. No meeting ends until everyone has spoken at least once. Not about everything, just one thing. Here's how it works. At the end of each meeting, go around the room with one simple question. What's one thing we haven't discussed that we should think about? The first few times, awkward. People might say, nothing to add, but stick with it. What emerges are hidden problems, creative solutions, new perspectives. Because here's what starts happening. People start coming prepared. They know they'll be asked, so they start paying attention differently. And the best ideas, they often come from the person who's closest to the work, not the loudest in the room. Let's bring all these pieces together. When you balance strong leadership with proper management, when you delegate effectively without blame, when everyone's voice matters, something remarkable happens. A transformation. Teams stay longer, work gets better, and the business grows faster. Your best people don't just stay, they help build something greater than you imagined. Remember, strong leadership needs solid management. Delegation needs proper training. Growth needs everyone's input. And here's the most important part. You don't have to make these changes all at once. Start with just one. Pick the mistake that resonated most with you and focus there first. Want to learn more about these and other team building mistakes? Click the link in the description below for your free guide. And let me know in the comments which of these mistakes hit closest to home. I read and respond to every comment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.